What's up, everybody, and welcome to ClearTalk. So, in this video, we're finally getting to the Epstein files, um, because today is supposed to be the vote. So, we're going to talk about the Epstein files. We're going to talk about Trump and his reversal, his sudden 180 on releasing the files. And even while pretending that he always was for releasing them when he wasn't. So we're going to talk about that and what the Epstein files being basically what is breaking the MAGA movement. So thank you very much for joining me. And if you are new to the channel, welcome to ClearTalk. If you'd like to check out videos from the rest of the channel, please do so. Consider subscribing, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. And then if you want to check out videos from my other channels, JMDPLAY, puzzling, please do consider, if you like what you see there, consider subscribing to those as well. And yeah, to help any of the channels grow. And if you would like to give any kind of support, there's Patreon there for $3 a month. You can support any of the channels you would like to help grow them and influence stuff on them or whatever, and also help grow Patreon. Or if you would like to give a one-time donation or something, or thanks for a comment, or however you want to support JMD Nation is very much appreciated, and I thank you very much. And if you're returning, you're freaking amazing. Thank you very much for keep coming back over and over again. And yeah, because you are what makes JMD Nation. So, all right, Epstein files. This has been the big thing, like, going back for actually for quite a while. I mean, the whole Epstein case, this honestly goes way on back to even like George W. Bush. The files and releasing them, the whole case altogether. We're going. It's years. And in some way or another, they have always been either held back or not released in some kind of way. This has been asked for, and it's just continued to get heightened for the release, especially after the prosecution of Epstein in prison, and then he winds up committing suicide. Supposedly, people question that. His wife and partner in the whole thing, and her convictions and stuff. I mean, and then who's associated to it? Because it was such a big thing, and who was all connected, what politicians were connected, who in Hollywood was connected, who all the victims have come forth. And I mean, it's just everybody, there's a growing sentiment to, like, at this point it needs to just be cleared. Like, we need to know, people want to know who was all associated, who was all affected. And because it is, one of the, like, elite Washington and, like, to some degree Hollywood scandal that goes back decades now, and people want to finally clean it. They want to clear it. Well, some want to clean it, like clean themselves from it. So yeah, it's been big, and it's just continuously growing. And there was this idea that it was supposed to have been cleared and opened and released in his first administration, but somehow it just never happened. And then there was this sentiment growing that, okay, this was a cover-up, and it was like a left-leaning radical cover-up, like, because a lot of people who, like, have this concern for the Epstein files, like serious concern for them to be released, think that it's the dark side of they claim that this is the dark side of Washington, and a lot of those people think that the dark side of Washington is all the Democrat side of Washington. Now, don't get me wrong, there's corruption in the Democratic Party and probably some darkness there too, but to completely like pretend like the Republicans don't have that like possibility of being corrupt or having a dark side, or like in that's like, it's just absurd. But their purpose here was like, oh, this was a Democrat left, cover up when it come to Epstein committing suicide. They don't believe they believe he was killed. To protect people in Washington, and it is the swamp that did it, and the swamp is the bad people of Washington, and for some reason it's only connected in their minds as all Democrats, all liberals, all those are the ones that are bad because they don't have morality, or they're not as good of Christians, or they're not as good as of morals as us conservatives. So it can't be conservatives. So it's this whole just mental fuckery that they go about in believing and explaining and justifying their reasoning for pushing for it. Which, don't get me wrong, I want them released. I want it all done because I would like to see all the wickedness. I don't care who it is. I don't care if they're Democrat, Republican, or conservative, or what, I don't even care if they're Christian or not, or whatever. Like, if they are a part of it, if they were a part of this, sex traffic, like, I don't care, from of all ages and what, like, I want them all to be trialed and committed, or for their wrongdoings, in prison. I don't care who it is, all the way up to the top. That's my argument. I'm not trying to protect anybody. I don't give a shit who it is. That would be my thing. And so the idea that has been like building up on the MAGA side and the Republican side is that all the protectionism and defense was on the left, and so when Trump would come into office, they believe that he is innocent of everything. Like, he has no crimes, even though he's at this point a convicted felon. But he's perfect and he doesn't do any wrong. And he's going to release these. He's going to be finally the one to release them. And this entire time up to this point, it has been the opposite. He's been trying to actually prevent them. And his cronies in Washington and in the Senate, Mike Johnson and everybody else, they've been protecting and trying to prevent these things from happening, for the files to be released. They just have. It has been completely obvious until now, where they in holding off a vote for somebody who had been won their election to become a member of Congress, and holding off to vote them in and swear them in. Or not vote them in, but to swear them in, so that they would be the final vote that would give the number needed to release these files. And even though he claims that was not the reason, we all know that was actually the reason. Now, suddenly, when there's no way to hold it anymore, and there have been a growing sentiment and coalition within the MAGA movement, within Trump's base, that they want these files released. You have Congress people and stuff who are like legitimately want these released, others who don't. And I think the writing on the wall has been seen, and Trump suddenly wants to get ahead of it and be like, you know what? Yes, we're good. Let's release them. Let's release them. They've been pushing all along, even though he himself was reported to have, to have asked for the files to be, investigation to be done on the files to clean the files up. So it is of opinion at this point that they have been holding off and holding off and holding off because they are trying to clean up those files, trying to redact as much as possible Trump or and other Republicans that might be associated in those files. As we see now, he has opened up an investigation for only Democrats who were in the files, trying to push the argument. Oh, yes, it's definitely just Democrats. The Bill Clintons and all this other, like, so it's definitely all them. But he can't get past the fact that there have been a section of those files released by the Democrats just last week. And I myself even went through a lot of the files, sort of skimmed through. There have been other groups that have kind of coalesced the files and have a sophisticated search engine now for the files, and have released that Trump's name for those pages. Trump's name was in it like 1,000 something times. He was the name that came up the most in the files. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it was, incriminating of him. But nonetheless, it shows that just in that small section of the files, and that is a small section, even though it's like 22,000 pages, that his name was stated more than anybody else. While he says that he didn't do anything wrong. And the some of the times that I saw it come up, it was kind of not necessarily incriminating on a lot of it, but then there was some that questionably could be incriminating, very much so. Even the times that I saw Bill Clinton's name in there, I even saw the statement where Jeffrey Epstein himself stated like that Bill Clinton had never even been on his island. So, I mean, like, and I'm not trying to like defend or protect Bill Clinton, because I don't give a shit for Bill Clinton myself. And if he is to be found anywhere in there to be incriminating, then get his ass in jail too. I don't care. That's my point. Like, Trump seems to be trying to push and point fingers away from him as much as possible. And they've been trying to protect this whole time. But we've all been kind of curious. It looks guilty to a lot of us. Some, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who also wants them released, she doesn't think that Trump is guilty in any of it. She thinks, she's confused. She feels confused as to why, because she is convinced that he's okay and clean. So it's confusing to her why he would be trying to prevent them from coming out. She feels like there's some other reason why, that it's not because he's implicated, but, just that. So I don't know. I don't even know why she, what she actually thinks. But now all of a sudden, he's done a 180 and is like, yes, this is clean. It feels like that now that there's a good chance that they've cleaned them up as he requested, that he feels like they're good to be released and that he won't be implicated, that he's clean and wiped from them. But we have this article here. Let's go through it real quick. Trump says House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files. In a reversal, President Trump says House Republicans should vote to release the Jeffrey Epstein files. In a post on social True Social platform late Sunday night, Trump wrote, "As I said on Friday night aboard Air Force One to the fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide and it's time to move on from this Democratic hoax perpetrated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party, including our recent victory on the Democrat shutdown." The president has been opposing the release of the files. He was previously said he cut ties with Epstein years ago, and he has not been accused of wrongdoing. House GOP leaders are aiming to hold a vote Tuesday on legislation to force the full release of the Justice Department's files on Epstein. All Democrats and 4 Republican House members last week successfully brought a petition to the floor to force a vote on releasing the files, circumventing GOP leadership. House Speaker Johnson said the vote will happen this week. The bill, titled the Epstein Files Transparency Act, was first introduced in July by Democratic Representative Ro Khanna of California and Republican Thomas Massie of Kentucky as pressure intensified on the Trump administration to release more Epstein-related files. The bipartisan legislation calls for the release of documents relating to all investigations into Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell, who was convicted of sex trafficking in 2021. The bill would compel the release of flight logs, travel records, names of individuals, and entities referenced in any Epstein case in internal Justice Department communications within 30 days of the legislation's passage. It would also make public any records concerning the destruction, deletion, alteration, misplacement, or concealment of documents, recordings, or electronic data related to Epstein and his associates, as well as documentations about his death. Epstein died by suicide in 2019 at a Manhattan correctional facility while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. I believe we're going to get 40 to 50 Republicans voting on this release, Khanna told reporters. And if we get the kind of overwhelming vote that's going to push the Senate, it's going to push for a release of the files from the Justice Department. It's unclear if the Senate would take it up if it clears the House. Last week, the Oversight Committee released more than 20,000 pages of documents from Epstein's estate. They included emails exchanged between Epstein and others about President Trump. On Friday, Trump called for the Justice Department and the FBI to investigate Epstein's involvement with prominent Democrats, including former Bill Clinton and major financial institutions. So that's what you have going on. Is all along there has been this idea to try to put it off, hold it, restrict it, keep it down. Now they're at the point where there's a section of MAGA that has broken on this. The Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Thomas Massie's, others, Nick Fluentes is now we're going to have a video on that too, the final break and end of MAGA that he claims. I mean, there's a whole part of MAGA that has broken apart. A lot of which is over these Epstein files and the administration seemingly not willing to release them until suddenly now Trump is like boasting and pressuring, yeah, go ahead and release them. I'm good. There's nothing and I don't know if it's because he has gotten some reassurance that he is invincible to them or whatever. I don't know. Or that, I mean, he already feels like he's invincible and nothing can touch him anyway. So maybe he's finally like, whatever, even if it does come out, I'll convince people that I'm good and that there's no reason to hate me. I don't know. But now we have a complete reversal on him to releasing them. The vote is supposed to be today. So we'll see what happens there. And then, of course, investigations, what is released, what is implicated, how much of is it redacted, can we get the redacted information released? I mean, there's going to be I'm sure this is going to be an ongoing saga for the next few months. And it's the one major of all the things that this administration has pulled off so far, all the destruction that they have done to our agencies and administrative, stuff that, like, as far as helping individuals and people, we're not breaking down all those institutions to, the mass deportation practices of ICE and everything, like our continued support for Israel and a genocide that they have committed, like, all these different things, the pressure campaigns against all our allies, tariffs, starting to try to start a war with Venezuela, all these different things that this administration done. And the one thing that is putting a crack in the MAGA movement and in the MAGA base is the Epstein files. This is what is finally breaking this coalition. They were good with everything else, but this is the one thing that is breaking them. And while I don't completely get why none of the rest of it would break them, fine. If this is it, if this is what it takes to finally bring the MAGA movement and this administration to its knees, so be it. And I hope whatever comes of it, and what's released, the ongoing fight, and I feel like there will be a fight in some kind of way or form or fashion. And it is, there's starting to be like, this is not really even just a fracture in the MAGA base and the MAGA movement. This is like a full-on civil war at this point, where you have parts of the previous parts of the coalition completely breaking away, and starting a whole new movement that we're going to talk about in another video. So my personal opinion, like I said, is that, yeah, they need to be released. Every bit of it needs to be released. Completely unredacted. All names released. All actions. Everything that has been found from the Justice Department. And anyone implicated in it of criminal activity should be brought up on charges, should see trial, and whatever comes of that trial, whether they're convicted, do their sentence. I don't care who it is. I don't care what politician it is, whether they are serving currently or previously, served, or whether they're actually in the White House right now or previously in the White House. I don't care. It needs to be known. The concern, the unknown, the doubt, whatever, it all needs to be answered. The protection of certain individuals, it all needs to be released. I don't care who goes down. And I've said that before on other things. So that's my sentiment on it. I'm not trying to protect anybody. I don't care. Doesn't bother me what they are or who they're associated with. They need to go down. But is that what you are asking for? That's what you should question. That's what you should look at yourself if you're one who's been asking for this. Or even if you're one that's been trying to hide it or act like it's not important. Why? What are your true intentions? How are you, what is your opinion? Why do you feel the way you feel about it? And let's have a conversation about that. Thank you very much for joining me, though. And yeah, this could very much be the downfall. Crazy enough, this could be the downfall of MAGA. And I guess we just need to get the popcorn out and see how it goes. Thank you very much for joining me. Until next time, peace. Clear Talk. I'm out.